The air is different here, heavy and thick, the way silence can sometimes press against you, almost like a physical weight. It wraps around you like a blanket, but it's the kind you throw hastily over your bed, full of dust and memories, never quite comfortable. The old cabin, nestled just shy of the edge of an ancient forest, sits before you like an ancient sentinel, its wooden beams groaning under the weight of stories best left untold. Abandoned for years, or so you think, it beckons you, leaning into the dusk as shadows gather to entwine themselves around its worn facade. You arrive just as the sun dips below the tree line, bathing the sky in hues that make your heart ache with nostalgia. You had planned this escape for so long, an opportunity to disconnect, to reconnect with yourself in the solitude. The road leading to the cabin was narrow and overgrown, the kind of path that eats away at your awareness, making you feel as if the world outside fades at an alarming rate. The winding drive was punctuated by old trees. Skeletal branches creaked with the whisper of the evening breeze, like long-forgotten secrets escaping into the night. The front door is already ajar, a quiet invitation rather than a warning. The hinges groan softly as you push it open, the air inside stale, perfumed with the scent of old wood and distant mildew. You step inside, and although the chill of twilight pricks your skin, it's the lingering feeling of being watched that sends a shiver racing down your spine. You dismiss it. It's just remnants of the day's exhaustion mingling with lingering anxiety, you're certain. You flick on the fading lights, their feeble glow barely pushing against the encroaching shadows that stretch and shift with each small flicker. The cabin is centered around a single, open room, with a hearth that hasn't been lit in years, its stone lips sealed shut by soot and neglect. A rickety table sits at the center, surrounded by mismatched chairs, their paint peeling, the wood warped from years of solitude. Dust dances lazily in the light, ancient specks caught in the fading glow, each particle a mote of unclaimed history, a ghost of laughter, of warmth long since evaporated. After some time moving about, you set your bags down beside a battered sofa, the fabric worn thin in patches. It's a familiar corner. You had envisioned a million evenings spent here, gazing into the woods, letting the stillness cradle you. But once settled, the feeling of wrongness crawls back into your chest, tightening like a vice. You shake it off. You'd expected solitude, but perhaps it is the stillness that brings with it an uncanny sense of unease. Hours pass in unremarkable silence, the shadows stretching and yawning as the sun fully surrenders to night. The darkness outside is thick now, a velvet curtain drawn tight against your fragile world. You brew a cup of tea, the kettles whistle a comforting sound that reverberates through the air, a reminder of life, a surge against the press of absence. With the heat of the cup warming your palms, you wander to the window. Outside, the forest looms, each tree a tall sentry holding its secrets close. The night sounds are muted but present, a distant rustle of leaves, a soft whisper of wind weaving through the branches, perhaps a lingering echo of something else, a presence that feels more watchful than you would like to admit. The inviting light from inside the cabin spills onto the porch, creating a small sanctuary where safety lingers in the glow, but it also seems exposed, hanging like a piece of meat on a hook. You step back from the window, pulling the curtains tight, as if to shield yourself from the eyes you can't see but feel pressing in close. As the hours wear on and the tea slowly cools in your hands, thoughts begin to wander. You inspect a few of the framed photos lining the walls, dusty and faded faces staring back at you from a past long buried. You can feel the weight of their gazes. They seem almost to judge your presence here, an intruder in their forgotten realm. Each face unfolds, a story, or at least a fragment of one, that you can only begin to piece together. Weddings, family gatherings, smiles and laughter caught in perpetual motion, now muted by the passage of time. But there is one photograph that grips your attention. It's off to the side, a bit out of alignment, which seems odd in a place of such neglect. You pull it down, studying the image closely. A small family, 2 parents and their young child, perhaps 6 or 7, standing proudly in front of the cabin, the same one that envelops you now. It appeared warm, lively then. The greenery around it was lush, vibrant. You can almost hear the laughter, see the child dashing through the very woods that now loom like giants of despair. Something in the child's eyes captures you. A spark, a glimmer of something unsettling that flickers just out of reach, but lingers long after you pull your gaze away. You shake your head, unconsciously stepping back, shaking off a chill you can't explain as cold fingers of unease trail down your spine. It's just a photo, you remind yourself. Just a time long gone. Nestling the photograph back onto the wall, you resolve to settle in properly, finding a book soaked in dust and cover peeling from neglect. Stacking your legs onto the sofa, you flip through its yellowed pages, letting the stories whisper to you, a lullaby against the night. But it doesn't take long for your mind to begin wandering again. Outside, the darkness seeps through the window like an invading fog, and the rustling makes you restless. No, it's more than that. It feels invasive, alive, and just outside the door, as if the very nature itself is vying for your attention, beckoning you to listen closely. Eventually, the evening's quiet swallows the soft cadence of your reading, pulling you into a restless slumber marked by fragmented dreams and heavy dread. Visions flicker behind your closed eyelids, shadows darting just at the edge of comprehension, laughter echoing through the trees far too familiar yet too distant to recognize. When you wake, it's to the low creep of dawn just beginning to split the night apart. The familiar sense of wrongness is now entangled with the dawn's light, an even deeper discomfort, thrumming just beneath your skin. You can hear echoes of laughter lingering just outside, but this warmth feels twisted, a sound turning sharp enough to cause your breath to hitch in your throat. The morning rituals are odd, mundane, yet imbued with that uncomfortable essence, lodged like a splinter in your mind. You step out onto the porch, swallowing the chill of the air, your feet heavy on the creaking steps. The sun struggles to send its comforting rays through the dense canopy above. The light is frail, filtered and diffused, almost ethereal, a blend of shadow and brightness, leaving the world in shades of grey. The forest feels sprawling and too intimate at once, and as you glide across the clearing, your senses prick. The trees seem different with the light of day, more sentient, watching you, waiting. You force a smile, trying to shake off the strange feelings binding your legs to the floor, as if the very roots of the earth are crawling up to claim you. Just beyond the trees, your footfalls pad against the underbrush, the dry leaves whispering secrets that itch your ears. Following a path you think might lead to a stream or some semblance of peace, you venture deeper. Before long, the dense undergrowth begins to feel tighter, wrapping around you as if every branch, every rustle, is drawing you in closer, an almost magnetic pull guiding you along. You stumble upon a small clearing where the chaotic spine of a river is gurgling just out of sight. There, banked against the roots of an ancient tree, you see something strange glittering, the sun catching on shards that catch your breath in your throat. You move closer, straining to discern what it might be. And then you see it, your heart dropping like a stone. A collection of toys, old and somehow eerily pristine despite their years, nestled amongst the leaves. There are dolls the vacant eyes and twisted limbs, once cherished and now forgotten. A rusted tin robot, dented and tarnished but still gleaming in the morning light. Blocks with letters that spell out the name you can't quite read from this angle, but there's something ruinous in its disarray. You turn and twist through the collection, fingers brushing against each item, feeling your stomach churn at the sight, the eeriness of their placement so purposeful it nearly sends you racing. Who would leave something like this here? Something so full of life cast aside like broken dreams, like memories of warmth extinguished. The very laughter you sought to escape seems to echo here, bouncing off the trees, and with it, an unsettling realization sinks in. The cabin was not merely abandoned, it was left behind, emptied of happiness for reasons you can only begin to fathom. In a panic, you turn to follow your path back. The trees close in around you, more ominous now, shadows creeping closer, clawing at the edges of your mind like tendrils whispering tales of dread. You pick up your pace, heart hammering faster, and when you finally burst back into the clearing where the cabin stands, it feels as if you are entering a different world altogether. The sunlight no longer feels warm. It presses down, suffocating. The air is tinged with something distinctly wrong, the stillness around you harsh and accusing. You escalate into the safety of the cabin, and dread mounts heavy in your chest. You return to the couch, desperately flipping through the pages of your book, trying to escape the weight perched on your shoulders. Hours slip by in a haze of anxiety, every glance out the window flaring your senses, each creak of the cabin pulling you into familiar territories of dread. Shadows play sharp against the walls, twisting and turning as the sun sets once more. Just as twilight embraces the landscape, a series of soft knocks sound at the front door, the familiar echo reverberating through the stillness. You freeze, heart thundering. You don't remember inviting anyone, nor is there another soul for miles, as far as you can tell. The soft tapping continues, almost tentative, with an unnerving rhythm that sends chills racing through your spine. You reluctantly inch toward the door, dread clawing at your throat, each timid step reverberating through the silence. Your breath is shallow, and you grasp the doorknob firmly, wavering on the threshold of decision. With a deep inhale that rattles your chest, you twist the knob and pull the door open. The night swallows the light behind you, the cabin's interior amplifying the thrum of your heartbeat. The space outside reveals nothing but shadows, thick as ink, casting absurd shapes in the light. You peer into the dark, searching for whatever dared to tread upon your humble sanctuary, the stillness pressing around you like a vice. And then, at the edge of your vision, you see them. Small figures, gleaming beneath the tenebrous umbra as they pause, watching you with expressionless faces, just like the toys lost to the woods. You recognize the forms, the same dolls you left behind, their vacant eyes reflecting every emotion gripping you tight. There is something impossibly wrong with their eyes, their limbs mocking your own humanity, a twisted semblance of life in their stillness. And then you are aware of the laughter, soft yet chilling, echoing through the trees around you, mingling with the laughter you thought you had left behind. The moonlight illuminates their plastic features, yet the sound seems to come from within the depths of the forest. "Join us," they whisper, their voices a chorus. The resonance echoes through you, pulling at each fiber of your sanity, weaving tales of despair that curl around your heart. The pressure mounts, coursing through your veins like an intrusive whisper echoing. Do you know the game? Do you remember the past? You step back, slamming the door shut, but the very foundation of the cabin seems to tremble beneath your heels, as if grounding itself in the truth you had evaded. You hear the soft scraping again, like tiny nails tapping against the wood, a soft plea to welcome the familiar, yet torn away from reality. Moments fold into moments as you retreat deeper into the house, trying to drown out their haunting drawl, the simultaneous warmth and chill that wholly overwhelms your senses. You huddle against the walls, peering through the windows as the figures, those dolls, those caricatures, squarely fix their unyielding eyes upon you. And then, in a chilling realization that sends tremors through your being, you catch the faint sound of laughter deep within the woods mingling with theirs, mingling with a familiarity you cannot place. Time stretches in unnerving ways, your heart racing, your breath shallow, the very air asphyxiating around you. You whisper softly to yourself, trying to fracture the tension within your chest, but it spills over as you feel it closing in. The last remnants of sunlight flicker out, plunging you into shadows deeper than before. With each passing breath, you can feel the embrace of darkness tightening around you, each tick of the clock echoing through your mind's endless depths, till you can't discern where they end and you begin. The next day may rise with dawn that fails to break the spell, or you may simply dissolve into the fabric of night, joining that symphony of laughter amidst the trees and whispers, a timeless echo that entangles you in the wrongness now perfectly woven into your reality. But you're not quite sure, yet, where you fit among them. Maybe the answer lies with the darkness, or perhaps deep within the memories of those toy-saturated woods. You linger on that threshold of dread, caught between two worlds as the figures draw near, their laughter filling the void. At last, you are wrapped in shadows, and the cabin is no longer just a shadow's fragment, it is home.